Hello and welcome to our live talk on short upskilling courses in nursing and healthcare at Atlantic Technological University. My name is Jean Gilligan and I'm the Head of Online Learning, Business Development and Operations Manager here at ATU, and I'll be your host for this live talk. This evening, I'm joined by Dimpna O'Connell, Lecturer in Nursing and Director of Postgraduate Programmes at St Angela's College in Sligo, and Richard Holmes, who is also a lecturer in the Faculty of Nursing at ATU Mayo. So welcome Dimpna and Richard. This evening we'll be chatting about the types of short upskilling programmes that are available in nursing and healthcare across the ATU. We'll explain what we mean by what a short course is and how they can be used to help people to develop and progress their careers in nursing and healthcare. Just some housekeeping before we start. We're not taking any questions within the talk. However, if you want to head over to our live Q&A section on our virtual Open Evening platform, you can submit any questions there and our team will get back to you, or you can access the Contact Us section and select the relevant email from there, which will go to our admissions team with your query. So to start, Dimpna, can I ask you, when we talk about a short course, what exactly are we talking about? How long would that typically be for some of our students?
Yeah, well, when we talk about short courses here in the Department of Nursing, Health Sciences and Disability Studies at St Angela's, for us, we're talking about a course that you can take over a semester. So typically, those courses will run for about 12 weeks in duration in total. And then they would normally begin maybe in the first semester, and then by Christmas, and then you could take another module then in the second semester. So for us, really, it's about, I suppose, a short amount of time, 12 weeks, and with an option of a little bit of flexibility built in. So those courses may be delivered with a combination of maybe blended learning, online learning, and then some campus attendance as well.
Perfect. And when we talk about a semester, I suppose we know that means an academic semester, and so they would typically be September to Christmas and January to May. Yeah,
to May, yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And also with regards to blended, that's a mixture of some online content and some visits then to St Angela's. Is that what you mean by blended?
So yes, so we would have a variety. So when we say some of our courses, our short courses are blended, it would mean just that they would take some online content that they can do in their own time at home with some flexibility, and then come into the campus for some attendance. Yeah, and then there are other short courses where all the content may actually be online, and there may not be a requirement for students to come in at all. And then in another version of that, we would also be flexible maybe in terms of the times that we deliver those programs. So we have some programs and modules maybe that run, or I mean modules really, that run outside of working hours and would run in the evenings, for example. Brilliant. So a little bit of variety, depending on which short course you're taking. Yeah.
And lots of flexibility there with options, something to suit everybody. Yeah. So could you give us a brief overview of some of the short courses that are on offer in the School of Nursing and Health Sciences and Disability Studies in St Angela's?
Yeah, so the way we structure our short courses here is through a particular program. So it's a program in nursing and professional studies. And in this program, we allow students, I suppose, to build their own postgraduate diploma over time. So the options are to take modules, and these modules can be taken as what we call a standalone module. So the student would come and just take one module, and they have no there's no commitment necessarily to stay on and build a program, but there is the option there that if they want to take these single modules, they can build them, and building up towards actually a postgraduate diploma. So 6 modules would, if they carried on to do 6 modules, would build you a postgraduate diploma. But like I said, there's no necessarily commitment to stay on and do that. And people are definitely coming to do just the one module or maybe 2 modules, and they're deciding then to leave and not to continue to take a full program. And that type of an option where students might dip in, take the module and then go again are very good kind of way for them to take a module to, if they want to professionally develop in some aspect of nursing or healthcare practice. That they want to just develop in, but they're not necessarily looking to stay on for that kind of further qualification. So we offer a lot of those modules. Let's say we describe them, I suppose, as a suite of modules that are appropriate for nursing. So some examples there would be modules maybe that were suitable for people working in mental health nursing or mental health care either, because it doesn't necessarily mean nurses have to do the modules. They're actually all multidisciplinary modules. So that would be modules in topics such as eating disorders, or managing and assessing people with self-harm, or introduction to cognitive behavioral therapy, for example. Then others of our modules will be more focused on intellectual disability and nursing, or again, intellectual disability healthcare. So or intellectual disability or disability in general. So there will be modules maybe like managing of challenging behaviour, and modules like autism spectrum disorder, and working with people with autism spectrum as well. And then also maybe things like historical perspectives in disability care as well. So that's kind of the disability sector. And then we would have other modules that would look more at maybe the acute sector as well. So modules such as policy and healthcare management, principles of healthcare leadership, advanced skills, and things like that in nursing and healthcare. So that's just a variety of some of the modules people could take.
Yeah, it's a vast variety. I suppose there's so many disciplines within nursing itself, and so many different avenues that people can take. So it's good to know that they can take a particular module if there's an area that they have a particular interest in and upskilling.
But these modules, of course, are open to people in social care as well. So it's not just nursing. As I said, they're multidisciplinary. So, it wouldn't just be nurses who would come on them. There's a variety.
And you can see where people would come in from different avenues to those, and they're stackable, as you say. So you can dip in, dip out, take one module, or decide to build on it towards your postgrad diplomas. That's great. So for mature students who are working, we mentioned already about blended and online. Is it very structured, or is there other flexibilities that they can have when they're taking the courses?
Yeah, well, the courses they're quite structured, as in the students coming onto these programs will know exactly what is expected for the semester. So if they may know, for example, that they're coming on campus for 3 days, right at the very beginning, or actually even well before the beginning of the program, they will know what days they are, and so they'll know. And generally, they will be maybe coming in about 1 day a month. And maybe come in for about 3 occasions during the module. Or else, if they're online, they will know exactly what weeks those online classes are going to be on, and their attendance for that. So there's that kind of structure to it. I suppose students are usually, very clear on kind of what the attendance is. But like I said, there'll be a little bit of a mix within all the modules. So some modules will be fully online, some may be blended, and that would involve some online work and some attendance. And then some modules are attendance only, where students would come in to the campus only for the content of that module. But again, we would always keep those attendance days, on average, it's around 3 per module.
Okay, and that's all available up front, so people can see that and plan ahead when they want to do the course.
Yes, exactly. So they know exactly even when they're coming,
Brilliant.
As well as how many days,
Great. So for people who take on these programs or these modules, what kind of employment or progression opportunities are available for them when they complete the courses?
Yeah, well, I suppose what the course has given you is kind of professional development in certain aspects of nursing or social care. So usually students who take these modules would maybe be looking to go on to maybe get more promotional or senior roles, either within maybe practice that they're in their terms of their practice, or maybe within management in the area that they work with, or maybe they have a view to going on maybe further in with educational delivery in the area that they're working in. So we would say that they offer opportunities for promotion within either the kind of clinical or practice environment within management, or those areas in particular, but also within education as well. And not just, in the acute sectors either, we're talking about in the community as well. And because, obviously healthcare and social care is so much more so delivered within the community now than it is within the traditional establishment. Yeah.
Perfect. Would you know if the HSE offers any kind of funding for students who undertake these programs?
Yeah, so for those modules that I've been just talking about there, those type of standalone modules, the HSE do offer funding for them, and they have been given 100% funding actually for those modules over a long number of years. So when students want to come on those modules, what they do normally are, I should say, students, I call them students anyway, but if professionals, social care or healthcare professions want to come on those modules, they'll usually apply to the maybe the Centre for Nursing and Midwifery that is associated with the area that they work in, and the Centre for Nursing and Midwifery Education do give funding towards them. I know there are other private funding sectors for if students aren't working within the HSE sector, and SkillsNet is another kind of place that students can go for funding when they're not actually working within the health services or within the HSE as such.
That's great. That's great that there are funding mechanisms there.
Yeah, there are funding
mechanisms to progress the careers thing. Yeah. That's great. Thank you, Jim. Now I'm going to move to Richard now, if that's okay. And Richard, can I ask you just for a brief summary of some of the programs that you deliver in ATU Mayo?
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Jean. In ATU Mayo, in a similar format to what's been outlined in St Angela's and in Sligo, we offer a range of online flexible professional development courses. These courses are usually over 13 weeks or 26 weeks, so they would range 1 semester or 2 semesters. Specifically, the courses that I was going to mention are a suite of digital health programs that we have on offer in ATU Mayo. One of those would be a certificate in e-health, which is the shortest one, over 13 weeks. Additionally to that, we have a larger and longer format of that, but it's still classed as a short course. That would be over 26 weeks, which is, I suppose, 1 academic year. And that would be the certificate in building digital health communities. And we have a newer program that we launched last year in ATU Mayo, which is a certificate in healthcare analytics. So each of those 3 programs are kind of focused in the digital health transformation area. They are flexible and online. And similar to St Angela's, they are aimed at nurses and health and social care professionals and other allied health professionals that might be working in IT or in hospital or community health administration. In addition, the one other course I'd like to mention is the certificate in nursing. Specifically, it's a nursing course in procedural sedation, and that would be relevant for nurses only that are working in specific areas such as cardiology, endoscopy, interventional radiology, and sometimes in accident and emergency. That's a very kind of bespoke and specific course which focuses on quality and safety for patients undergoing sedation.
Well, very interesting. You mentioned online and flexible there when you were talking, and I'm conscious of, nurses working shift work or unusual hours. What kind of flexibility is available for them on those courses that you mentioned?
Yeah, so I think again, similarly to what's been mentioned by Dimna, we would usually, the digital suite of courses, the three courses that I mentioned, are actually entirely online. what we try to do prior to the semester starting is to give a lecture schedule. So we would specify prior to the semester the day or the days of the week that live online lectures will take place. So that would allow students to plan, or potential students to plan, to say, for example, well, I know the lectures are going to be on a Tuesday. For example, last year we had lectures on Tuesday lunchtimes and Tuesday evenings. So that would be set at this stage, so that students would be able to say, well, I can plan my roster. That would be, for example, for nurses if they were working shift work. But equally, we've found in the past that maybe lunchtime sessions, whilst they wouldn't be necessarily possible for nurses to dial into if they were working a shift, they might suit HSCPs, that is health and social care professionals, or other hospital administration staff that may be able to take a lunch break to dial into their course. But equally, those live sessions would be recorded and available as part of the flexible delivery for students, so they can dial in and catch up on content at a later stage.
And sometimes actually people who've been out of education for a while kind of enjoy the fact that it's a recorded version that's accessible at any time, because if it's an hour lecture, they can listen to 20 minutes and have a cup of tea and go back to it and re-listen to it. So I am conscious that I know I've spoke to people in the past who said, you know, that they really value the fact that they have that hour captured and can listen to it at a time that suits themselves.
For sure, Jean. Yeah, we've actually had students that have fed back to us that they might dial into the live session, but then also might go back and watch the recording just to catch up. Maybe if there was some kind of practical online element where they were being showed a particular piece of software or a particular skill, that they would go back and watch again and just be able to like capture and kind of augment that learning as well.
Yeah. Typically, what kind of workload would be involved, you know, in a typical week for a student, or how are assessments carried out for those programs?
It does vary from course to course, depending on what level the course is pitched at on the framework of qualifications. So level 8 and level 9 might be slightly different, but typically you might get over a 1 semester course, a 13-week course. We would deliver maybe live lectures once a week. The live kind of engaging content that you would have with the lecturers from the university between the live session and maybe chat rooms or discussions or interactive content would typically be between maybe 2 to 3 hours for a shorter module, or for a longer module it might be 2 to 5 hours. And then there would be recommended kind of independent study on top of that. But typically we found that working professionals kind of find it reasonable and achievable to dial into 1 live session a week and to manage, you know, maybe 2 to 5 hours of live content or synchronous content, as we might call it.
Okay. And based on that, typically what type of student would these programs attract?
Well, as Dimna has highlighted, a lot of our programs are suitable for nurses across St Angela's and across ATU Mayo, but equally they are multidisciplinary. So they do attract health and social care professionals, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, public health nurses, IT specialists. We've actually had some physicians on our courses. And also they do sometimes attract people from other professions that might be looking to upskill in healthcare.
Brilliant. Similarly to what I asked Impna earlier, is there HSE funding available for any of these programs?
Yeah, so the Centres of Nursing and Midwifery Education, as Dimna mentioned, do provide a funding mechanism for nursing students. They have to apply for that themselves. One of our programs in the past has received Springboard funding, which is a HEI initiative, and we're hoping that we'll hear some news on a funding stream in terms of HEI funding for one of our certs for this academic year as well.
Excellent. So people should keep an eye on the Springboard platform, the springboardcourses.ie website, to see what programs are funded by Springboard,
Absolutely.
which I think,
yeah,
I hope in the next couple of weeks that should be available, actually.
Yeah, and we do have some of those programs that I've mentioned have had Springboard funding in the past, so it would be good to keep an eye out for that.
Excellent. I think we're going to have to wrap it up there. I'm conscious of time, so thank you both very much for joining us and for being the panelists this evening. Lots of information to digest from it, but for anyone watching, if you'd like to watch it back, we'll upload this live talk. It'll be on our virtual open evening platform and web page, and you'll be able to watch it back, and if there's any particular section you're unsure of or want to review again. If you're interested in doing a course from our short courses in nursing and healthcare area, visit our course search, and that's on our virtual open evening platform as well. And if you have any questions regarding this talk, then move over to our live Q&A section, and there's teams there ready to answer your questions for you. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for all the information you shared, and I hope it's been really helpful for people and that they enjoy the rest of our virtual open evening. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah.